groceries, those costs have gone down because of what this president has been able to do. And with that, thank you so much, Mark. Have an amazing, amazing day.
Wow. Wow.
And she hung up.
Wow.
The arrogance, the pomposity of this woman. Karine Jean-Pierre agreed to do a radio interview with a local station in Charlotte, North Carolina. Clearly, the campaign thinks that North Carolina is a state that they need to fight for. But of course, she's the White House press secretary, so she wouldn't be appearing on this program for political or campaign purposes, right? Right. And the radio host asked a very reasonable question that literally everyone in America is thinking. Watch what happened when Karine Jean-Pierre was faced with an uncomfortable question.
When I told a number of people that I was talking to you today, it was interesting, though. They all said, would you please just ask her, does the president have dementia? And so before I move on from that, does he?
Mark, I can't even believe you're asking me this question. That is an incredibly offensive question to ask.
But you know, people ask it.
Wait, no. You, Mark, you're taking us down this rabbit hole. Let me be very clear about this. For the past several years, the president's physician has laid out in a comprehensive way the president's health. This is a president, if you watch him every day, if you really pay attention to his record and what he has done, you will see exactly how focused he's been on the American people, how historic his actions has been. And so I'm not even going to truly really, take the premise of your question. I think it is incredibly insulting, and so we can move on to the next question.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just pause there for a moment. This is, by the way, Mark Garrison is the radio host on WBT in Charlotte, North Carolina, and this is not a conservative right-wing talk radio station. This is pretty much all news all the time. They focus on local Charlotte issues. They don't have any syndicated radio hosts. And Mark Garrison is actually not just a host; he's actually the news director at the station. So this is, I assure you, she would have never agreed to this interview if it was somebody with a conservative perspective. And she never actually answered the question, did she? There was a moment there when Mark Garrison was like, well, listen, people are saying this and people are asking this because, and before she could let him go through the reasons why this is a legitimate question, she said, no, you brought it up. You brought us down this rabbit hole, so let me respond. But of course, she never really responded. What rabbit hole? It's not a rabbit hole. We see what the president does. We see how he behaves. What's going on there? Is he okay? Does he have dementia? It should be a really easy thing for her to say, of course not. But she didn't. She didn't. Instead, she acted, I'm offended. I reject the premise of the question. I'm not even going to answer it. I'm so offended. You offend me. It's offensive. Okay, but can you answer the question once you're done being offended? I won't dignify it with a response. Now, I just want to be clear here. The latest polling shows that over 80% of the American people think that Joe Biden has some kind of mental incapacity where it relates to doing his job as president of the United States. And Karine Jean-Pierre, the spokesperson for the White House, responds to that giant majority in this country by saying they are all offensive. You're offensive for using common sense. You're offensive for voicing what everybody is thinking. You're offensive for being honest. That's how the left wins a debate. They don't engage in it. They just call you names. But good for Mark Garrison for not leaving it there. It continues.
Prices and grocery prices, then. Big topics here in North Carolina. How does Mr. Biden win votes when people don't have as much disposable income?
Look, the president understands. He grew up in a middle-class family, working-class family in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He gets it. He understands how difficult it is for Americans who are sitting around their kitchen table every month trying to figure out what they're going to pay for. I
am so sick of this, and I just want to interject here real fast. You want to talk offensive? Here's a guy saying, we've got people living here in North Carolina who cannot pay their bills, who are paying double what they used to pay for groceries and gas. Does the president have any solutions to that? And the best she can come up with is, he grew up in Scranton, and it wasn't easy back then in the 40s. The man has had a silver platter for every meal since the early 70s as a member of the United States Senate. Can we stop with the Scranton thing? Because it's been 50 years that he's been a senator or a vice president or now president. And by the way, in the 4 years between being vice president and president, boy, the money was rolling in there from Ukraine and Russia and China and Kazakhstan. I mean, whatever's left that didn't go up Hunter Biden's nose. Oh, he gets it. He grew up in Scranton. Did you know that? Did you know he grew up in Scranton? He gets it. You talk about offensive. All right, we'll let her answer go.
Remember when the president walked into this administration, there were multiple crises happening. There was COVID. There was the economy was in the tailspin because of the last administration, because of what the President Trump left us with. Now you're asking me about gas prices. The president took action on gas prices. Let's not forget Russia's invasion on Ukraine skyrocketed prices of gas. And because the president took action, we are in a different place than we were a year ago on gas prices. Eggs, milk, seafood products, all the important groceries, those costs have gone down because of what this president has been able to do. And with that, thank you so much, Mark. Have an amazing, amazing day.
Wow. Wow.
And she hung up.
Wow. I mean, Mark, listen, I am nominating you to get a press corps badge, and you need to go to the White House. I'm sorry, but you asked 3-4 incredibly salient, important questions that are all front of mind, nothing out of bounds, no baba booeying or anything like that, right? And you did it exactly right on. And I don't understand the fragility of this person. I mean, no.
That's how it ended. And with that, Mark, goodbye. Click. And she hung up because they can't take any kind of challenges. They can't. I mean, this is the theme here, right? From Destiny and Jordan Peterson to now Karine Jean-Pierre, who's dared, this radio host dares to ask a couple of questions that put her on her back heels. This is why the left refuses to engage in debate and discussions in this country. And the arrogance, the pomposity of this woman. And let's not forget what set it all off, what started the whole thing, was a question about Joe Biden's mental capacity, whether he has dementia, whether he's capable of fulfilling his duties as president of the United States for the rest of this year, let alone the 4 more years that he wants. And, ever since a sitting U.S. attorney and special prosecutor said in a court filing that he wasn't going to bring criminal charges against Joe Biden, not because he didn't break the law, but because he has no memory and a jury will take pity on him because he can barely remember when his son died. Ever since that happened, I think it's a pretty relevant question for anyone to ask, a member of the media, but pretty much any American citizen. And what she just did to this radio host is exactly what she does to you every day for daring to think exactly what this radio host said. And let's face it, I mean, why would any of us think that Joe Biden has lost a step? Why would any of us think that Joe Biden has some sort of memory problem or mental incapacity or dementia for that matter? It's so offensive that you would ask such a thing. I mean, here he is yesterday talking about the bridge collapse in Baltimore.
At about 1:30, a container ship struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which I've been over many, many times commuting from the state of Delaware on a train or by car. I've been in Baltimore Harbor many times.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, you guys should be ashamed of yourself for thinking that his brain is broken. The President Mashed Potato Brains just said that he's been over the Francis Scott Key Bridge many, many times commuting home to Delaware on the train, except for the fact that the Francis Scott Key Bridge doesn't have any train tracks on it. and it's not part of the Amtrak route to Delaware. I mean, other than that, he's got everything perfectly put together. How dare you? It's offensive. As usual, President Mashed Potato Brains is either a complete and total liar or he has no functioning brain left. Of course, we're always open to both. But here he is making his statement about the collapse of the train, and he has to make it about himself. Excuse me, the collapse of the bridge. And he has to make it about himself. I used to go over that bridge all the time on Amtrak. I guess we should be thankful that he didn't claim in this statement that his son Bo died in a bridge collapse. Although, if I let the video play a little further, maybe that's exactly what he did.